Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ivy's YouTube channel. Today, we're going to work on data cleaning and preparing the data on Tableau Prep. So, this is in continuation with our last month theme where we were emphasizing on data cleaning and preparation. And in last month, we had covered these topics with Excel. So today, instead of taking you through the features of Tableau Prep and how it can work, I thought it's going to be better if we take it in a form of a case study. So one of the videos that I've already done in YouTube is using Power BI. We created a dashboard on Zomato data set. When I picked up that data set for that dashboard, actually no cleaning was done. And today, what we are going to do is pick the same data set and do the data cleaning. So first of all, let's just go through what all was there in this data set. So these are the columns that were given to us in the data set, like restaurant ID, the name of the restaurant, the code, how many votes, what kind of cuisines were there, what's the average cost of two, what's the rating, what's the price range. Few of the columns I used in my dashboard, not all of them. Few columns which I feel were very important for the case study. I have highlighted that in orange color. Now, when you start the process of data cleaning, first of all, you need to understand what is the problem in various columns that we have. So I went through each and every column. Restaurant ID did not have any issues, so I skipped that. When we come to restaurant name, there I saw that there are some special characters in the name. So let me take you through this data set over here. If you see column number B, where the data set is given for the restaurant name, there are some hashtags given over here, or the C is there. So when we pull these things without cleaning in our software, sometimes it gives us problem. So the problem in the restaurant name was the special characters that were coming up, and I had to clean it. The second issue that I found out was in 9 missing values were there in the cuisines. Now, one way to tackle the missing value would have been that I get rid of the data completely. Out of 5,000 something rows of data, if I delete 9 rows of data, that is not going to, change a lot of insights that I would have got from my analysis. However, when I filtered for these 9 missing values, there are certain common things that we saw, and then I'll tell you what I did in the missing value treatment. And another issue was that there were multiple cuisines given in one cell under the header of cuisine. Now, if you go through my video in Power BI dashboard, over there, I have used this particular column as my filter or a slicer. So I cannot have a slicer where I have 3 things written like seafood, Asian, and Filipino, because nobody is going to really do a filtering based on various different type of combinations, and that would result in a lot of combinations for me. So the way to go about it would have been that I want one cuisine in one particular column, and over here multiple cuisines have been given. So again, reiterating what was the problem in the data. Number one, in the restaurant name, there were some special characters which I want to get rid of. In the column of cuisine, at the very bottom, I saw there were some blank rows, and multiple cuisines were given over here in data set, which makes it very difficult for me to use it for my dashboard. So how did I clean and prep this data in order to work with the dashboard? So let's move ahead. So when it came to the restaurant name, I used a clean step in Tableau Prep, which I'm going to demonstrate to you today. And I used something called remove punctuation that helped me to get rid of the special characters. Then for all the 9 missing values, I found out when I filtered the data that all of them were US based restaurant. One way to go about it could have been, since there are only 9 of them, I tried to Google and I looked at a couple of them, and most of them were just serving the American cuisine. So what I have done is replace the null value with American. I did not get rid of the record over here. Next, multiple cuisines were given. So we applied a custom split that kind of converted one column into multiple columns. Then in order to have an analysis, I cannot have three different cuisines sitting in three different columns. I had to pivot it again and converted the rows, columns to the rows. It got make sure that there's no extra spaces because the cuisines were given with comma and space. So just wanted to make sure no extra spaces is there. And not all the restaurants would have, let's say, three cuisine or five cuisines. So when we pivoted the data, it also resulted in few rows to be completely empty. So then the treatment was to get rid of these empty rows because they did not have any information. And then I deleted the column of cuisine, which had simply cuisine 1, cuisine 2, cuisine 3, cuisine 4, and so on and so forth, as it was pretty much meaningless since we have already pivoted the data. So let's jump into Tableau Prep for this. So I have already opened Tableau Prep. These are the various, if you have already created, those will be showing up over here. I'm going to start with connect to data, like a fresh work. The Zomato file that I have is a text file. So the first thing in Tableau or Tableau Prep is to connect to the source. So I'm connecting with the text file. This is my Zomato data set kept over here. Click on open. And now, first thing, if you notice in Tableau Prep, what it is showing you is what are the field names, and like what Tableau does, it gives you a data type check. So restaurant ID is taken as a number. I could have converted into text. The restaurant name is given as text, country code is a number, city is a text, and so and so. Now, on the top, what you see is where the flow is getting created. Now, what is the work of Tableau Prep or why Tableau Prep is used? Tableau Prep is used for data cleaning, preparing, and transforming the data. So there are, little bit of, there are one or two features in Tableau desktop that we can use, like there is data interpreter, which can help us to clean the Excel file. There is pivoting option in Tableau desktop itself, but over here we get much more better control of cleaning the data. And the best part is once you've created a flow of I want this as step number one, this as step number two, the flow can be saved. And anytime new data set is coming where I need to apply the same set of steps on top of it, I can just make it run through the flow. So that is a great advantage over here. So first thing that you see is that I have the data set. Then there is a plus sign. This is how we keep on increasing our flow over here. So once I click on the plus sign, it is asking me, what do you want to do? So like you can see, I can clean the step, I can have a clean step, I can add some rows, I can aggregate some values, I can do pivot, I can even do join and union over here in Tableau Prep. And then we have outputs that we can get. So as discussed, problem number one was the restaurant name had special characters. So I want to get rid of it. So how did we get rid of it? Went to clean step. Now it will load the data. I'm able to see the data properly and it shows me the unique values and how many of each values are there. Column B over here, restaurant name is given. You see these three dots? Once you click on it, it will give you a lot of options by which you can work. So I can filter, I can clean. In clean, I can change the cases. I can get rid of the spaces. So I used remove punctuation. So if you look at the data over here, you will see hashtags are there. And as soon as I go to clean and I get rid of the punctuation, my names would be given in a proper format. So names are now coming up properly. So that helps me to filter, that helps me to sort the data, look at the data. It's not confusing for the end user also. So the first step after Zomato data set is loaded is cleaning, and in which we did a step over here, we removed the punctuation. And all the changes that you're doing in Tableau Prep kind of comes over here on the left hand side under changes panel. It is showing that remove punctuation from which column I worked. All the details would be given over here. Problem number 2. I had null values of the empty rows under the cuisine column. So let's go there. And in the cuisine, like I said, what over here, what we're getting is the unique values and how many, like frequency of the unique values. So on the top over here, you can see it shows us when I hover on top of it that there are 9 rows. It is less than 1%. So it's not a huge amount of missing values there that I need to get rid of the data or I can't use this data properly. So what I'm going to do is click on the null value, right click on it, and I'm going to edit the value. So when I'm editing the value, wherever this null is, it is going to get replaced by whatever I type on over here. So as explained, when I saw those 9 missing values, they all belong to US restaurant. I had Googled a couple of them and found that they were all American cuisines. So I will just replace it with American. So now you will see no null value would be there. It's gone. And again, like I told you, things are going to reflect in the changes part. So group value over here, null is replaced by American has happened. Right? Third problem was that there are multiple cuisines sitting in one cell or in one column. And in order to analyze based on cuisines, the cuisine have to be one single cuisine in one column. So in order to do that, first I need to split it. How do you split? So over here, I can add another step. I can say I want to clean. And what I'm going to do over here is again go back to my cuisine column. Go to the 3 dots. And over here, you will see split values. So I'll go with custom split. And what it is asking is, what is the separator by which we are splitting the file? So what is the delimiter in this data? It's a comma. So I've put comma. And what do I want to split? Do I want to split the first one, the last one? I want to split all and get them as individual fields. So I'll click on all and click on split. Now that it has split the cuisine data, you will see there's not just one column of cuisine, but there are now 8 columns of cuisines. So this one is cuisine 8. This is cuisine 7, cuisine 6, cuisine 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what does it indicate? It indicates that there were certain restaurants which have up to 8 different cuisines being served. So based on how much ever was the largest number of cuisines in one cell, it has split into various columns. Now again, the problem being I can't use this data because I can't analyze saying, okay, let me pick cuisine split 4. Or if I want to say, okay, which restaurants are serving Indian food, Asian food, then I am not going to go and look in each and every column and look for the word Indian or Asia. Right? So again, one column, we split into multiple columns. Now I'm going to bring it back again. However, once we bring it back this time, it will have only one cuisine per row. So how do we do it? This process is called pivoting. So I have selected the first cell, first column of cuisine 1, and I'll go ahead and select the last cuisine. I'm going to press my shift key so that I'm able to go to the last cuisine. All right. So I total of 8 columns. So I got the 8 columns, selected all 8. Once I've selected all 8, then I'm going to right click. And it will give me an option of pivoting. So when I right click on top in any white space over here, it says pivot columns to rows. And that's what we're looking for. So let's go ahead, press it. So if you see what it has done, this is the result, right? In the result, you see there's a column got created called pivot1 names, which has 8 unique values, which will be repeating throughout in the column. And I have also got the column called cuisine split, right? And now if you look at the data, there's 146 unique cuisines that we are talking about, and they're given over here. Now, the first row has about 56,000. If you look at the first part, which is blank under cuisine, it shows that it has 56,689 blank rows. Now, why these blank rows got created? Very simple. We split our cuisine into different columns. Now, the number of columns was dictated by the restaurant, which has 8, the maximum number of cuisines shown. So you've got 8 columns. Now there are restaurants which has 1 cuisine or 2 cuisine, but for them, since the 8 got converted into a row, there are multiple rows which are going to be blank for those restaurants. So the question is, should we unnecessarily leave these blanks in my data and then work with it? Probably not. Unnecessary having 56,000 of empty rows where the data is not there, it's not relevant, we should get rid of it. So once I have selected these 56,000 rows, I'm going to right click and I can simply exclude it from my data set. Once I've done, now it is going to give me the clean data. And now our data is ready. We remove the special characters, we got rid of the null values, then we split the data, we pivoted the data, we filtered the data, and each and every step that you've done has been recorded over here. Now we are ready to get our output, the final output to be used for our analysis purpose. So we are going to click on the plus sign once again and click on the output. Once you click on the output, certain things you should do before you get the output. Number 1, what type of output are you expecting? Do you want the Tableau data extract, that is a hyperfile, or are you looking for an Excel file? Now, this decision will also depend on how large of data set you have. If it's a very large data set, Excel is not going to support it. Or very commonly, what we have seen is .csv file, which are text file. So let me put it back as a CSV file. Save output as a comma separated value. I want it on the desktop. This and accept. Now it's showing on the desktop. We run. It's done. Let's go back to our desktop. And there you go. When I open this data set, so I've got this column. We forgot to delete this column. We can. This is a cuisine split, which will have a single cuisine at a given point. It doesn't have multiple cuisines anymore. So these are all unique cuisines that we have. If you look at the restaurant names, they are clean and all the data is. So this is how we are going to use Tableau Prep. Very quickly, if I want to get rid of this pivot names, I can simply on my pivoting, let me add a clean step. And I can simply go ahead over here and delete it. Remove. So once you've removed this thing, this is gone. If you want to rename any column, we can rename it only to cuisines rather than saying cuisine split, or let's say unique cuisine new. All right. So this data set is ready for us to be used. So I hope you enjoyed this video in the form of a case study. Try to take you through the process of how we can clean and create flows in Tableau Prep. For any questions, to write in the comment. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned to Ivy Professional School's YouTube channel for more of such videos. Thank you.